Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
What are universities for? Economic enrichment, vocational training or acquiring precious knowledge? Professor Alison Wolfe, who's also a crossbench peer, thinks that our universities have become money machines, offering little more than pipe dreams. Here's her soapbox.
The beginning of the academic year. It's an exciting time for many 18 and 19-year-olds. New friends, new studies, living away from home. They're also part of a mass enterprise. More teenagers than ever before will start degrees this autumn. Governments have expanded universities year upon year, selling a dream not of learning, but of wealth. That's what justifies the fees that students pay and the big loans for which they sign up. The government wants even more students. It thinks universities are engines of economic growth, and so its new higher education bill for England makes it easier to set up more new ones. It's also raising fees. Yet many graduates can't repay their loans. So that means a big bill for the taxpayer. Once, universities recruited small numbers of academic high performers. Now it's a competition to recruit students by the thousand. Huge lecture theatres like this one define modern universities. Yet degrees aren't magic wealth machines. Only some degrees pay. A third of today's graduates are in non-graduate jobs, and the graduates of some universities register no wage premium at all. Their average wages are exactly the same as those of people who didn't go to university and who don't have student loans. English 18-year-olds basically have two choices: university or finding a job. That's it. Other countries have technical tracks, shorter, cheaper and valued by employers. We should do the same.
Right, and Alison Wolfe joins us now. You're an economics lecturer. Are you not biting off the hand that feeds you?
Well, if I am, then hopefully it's for a good reason. The reality is that for a lot of people, university does pay and you learn a great deal. But the problem that we have in this country is that we're actually giving 18-year-olds remarkably little choice. Essentially, they either have to go out into a harsh labour market where more and more graduates are competing with them, or they have to get into this graduate labour market and take on huge debts, which we know that many of them will never be able to repay.
I mean, Heidi Allen, do you agree also with the point made in the film that if there's no wage premium for going to university, what's the point?
Well, I suppose it depends what profession, what career you want to ultimately go into. Perhaps if you're interested in an academic career, then maybe earning isn't what it's all about. But I do agree, I think when I went to university, I was the first in my family to go, and that was kind of the conversation you'd have with your peers. Anybody in your family gone yet? And it swung the other way, that you are nobody, you are nothing if you don't go to university. And we've been pushing kids into degrees that are, dare I say, worthless, from universities with not rigorous academic standards, and they come out disappointed, and it has to change, and apprenticeships are part of that.
Right, you say it has to change, and I see if there was more choice to do other things, it could change. But are you saying you want to go back to the sort of elitist type, when very few people, apart from middle-class kids, went to university?
Not at all, but funnily enough, I won a slot in the private members bill last year, the first time as a new MP, and honestly, I didn't really know what to do with it, but kind people kind lobbyists helped me. And I tried to get a private members bill through about transparency on fees, actually, because it is a consumer thing. You are potentially taking on debt, and I want to know what I'm getting for my money. So let's help youngsters understand how many lectures, what are my job prospects, what am I going to earn, and then people might actually start to choose a different path.
Do you think it was wrong, Giza Stewart, for Labour, particularly under Tony Blair, to try and expand university education for everybody to go in the way that they wanted some quota of 50% or whatever of people that could go, should go?
I think you will find that the words 50% never crossed my lips, and it never crossed my lips for a very good reason. Alison is one of my heroes. That report on apprenticeships was just so significant that you have a dual system, you've got genuine alternatives. It's not just big employers employing their workforce, which was anybody would do. You've got an option where you go when you're 18. And I think that's the bullet we still haven't bitten. Now, I've got Birmingham University in my patch. A brilliant university, you know, every student there gets their worth. But in some of the cities, we're using universities almost like regeneration for the city life. We've lost that focus of the world of work and education.
All right, well, if we take on board that the idea is to produce more apprenticeships, to try and offer something else to 18-year-olds, at some stage you have to say to them, you're not bright enough to go to university, and they still might want to go.
You don't actually have to say that. What you have to say to 18-year-olds, which we don't at the moment, is you have an entitlement during your life to a certain amount of higher level education and training. It's up to you what you take and when you take it. At the moment, all we offer them is the opportunity to go to ever-expanding universities, to take 3-year degrees and to take on more and more debt. So what you do is you need to open it up. You need to actually follow pretty much every other European country in providing high-prestige technical routes that lead on out at 18, which we have consistently failed to do.
Why do you think? What is the psychological barrier to it?
I think that part of the problem is that we destroyed apprenticeships in this country back in the 1970s and 1980s, and we have never ever really taken hold of this fact and made a serious effort to put it right. People constantly get up and say, oh, we believe in apprenticeships, we believe in the importance of vocational education. When you look at what they do, they spend more and more and more money expanding more and more universities, and we're about to do it again.
Very briefly, Heidi Allen, it also looks as if the cost is going to come back to the taxpayer of people going to university, and as you said, even if they're not earning more, if they don't get a job, some of them, then they're not going to be able to pay back those loans, and taxpayers will be funding university education.
And that's the real risk with it if we push too many students into university where it's not right for them. But some of this is legacy, you know, this is before we've, you know, had chance to make reforms. We're going back, you know, students that have graduated already, and you know, there's not an awful lot we can do there other than support them into the workforce and, you know, help them as best we can to find work that pays well for them. But, you know, we've got to make apprenticeship sexy again. You know, my father was so proud to be an apprentice. It was a great thing. That's what you did, and they've become the poor relation. I think that's starting to change, particularly degree level apprenticeships, so people feel that they can still access that prestige but through a different vocational way.
Alison Wolf, thank you. I think
Thank
we're
you
gonna
very
have to leave
much.
it there, but thank you.
I've been getting away with it